Good afternoon and thanks so much for joining us here on Midday Live. My name is Bright Nana Amfo. Let's take a look at our top stories for this afternoon. First of all, let's begin from here. Demonstration by staff of Ghanaian Times workers enter day 2 as they resist their management director, a second attempt at entering a company. We'll tell you exactly why they won't allow their director to enter there. And Free Senior High School 13 challenges showing some defects in implementation of the policy. We'll get a situational report as men and women around the country observing implementation of the program. And the Minister of Food and Agriculture faced up with farmers over the army for-worm situation. And in business, Greater Accra branch of Ghana Union of Traders Association serves government a 6-week ultimatum to enforce GIPC law on retail trading. These are the top lines for this afternoon. And also, there's news from the world of sports right here on the show. Stay with us for the details. Now let's take a look at our first story. The Minister of Food and Agriculture, Dr. Akoto Owusu-Afriyie, has told the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament government deserves commendation and not condemnation for how it has managed the fall armyworm invasion in farms across the country. But the Member of Parliament for the Busa South constituency, Dr. Clement Apak, has challenged his claim that Ghana has won the fight against the army fall-worm invasion.
In the south, 7 regions, we have 2 seasons, the main season and the minor season. Those whose farms were affected, those whose farms were destroyed, we gave them another chance in this minor season. We are now in the minor season. Some are still planting. So we've given them fertilizers, we've given them improved seed, and they are doing it again. And not only that, we've also distributed the 7 different types of insecticides, chemicals, to control the outbreak. And that we've done since April, late April up to now. When it started, we didn't have stocks. Now I can confidently say that every district has stocks. So any district which doesn't have stocks would have to answer for it, because we have the records, we've done the distribution. And we are continuing to do the distribution until 31st of March next year, when we start the new season. And this time round, when we are going around distributing the fertilizers and the seeds, they will come with these 7 chemicals so that they are ready for action in case there's an outbreak. This phenomenon is so new. It's only 2 years on the continent of Africa, and it's causing such havoc. We have been very successful in controlling it. Compared to other countries, say Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and the others. And we should be commended for it rather than being condemned.
I came back from my constituency on the 10th. I was physically present, I visited farms, and I saw the worm. This must be put on record. And whether the worm has been defeated by his definition, and whether its presence is going to impact or not impact our food stock is not the issue. The fact is that the worm has not been defeated by my definition. I saw it with my own eyes in almost every community I visited in Busa South.
And Dr. Apak is in the studio, Member of Parliament for the Busa South constituency. Good afternoon, and thanks for your time with us. You said that you saw the worm on the farms. Does it suggest that perhaps government has not done anything at all about it?
Well, the truth is that I did see the worm on the farms that I visited when I was home in Busa South. As I said during yesterday's hearing at the Public Accounts Committee, of which I'm a member, this is not hearsay. I saw it for myself. And I returned to Accra only on the 10th,
right?
Largely because we're to resume sitting on the 11th. So I'm speaking from a first-hand account. But it's not just even me. Since I started to publicize the fact that the worm was still in Busa South and was still ravaging farms, I've received complementary information from colleagues. If you call the Member of Parliament for Boko Central, Mama Yaraga, he would confirm that as we speak today now, the worms are there. Yesterday, some of your own reports from different parts of the Upper East region, including Paga, confirmed that a colleague of mine, member of parliament for Ejura, Bawa, we all know Ejura is in the Brong-Ahafo region, you know, a very well-known farming community. He was furious yesterday. He really wanted, you know, the chair of the committee to also allow him to state the truth on the ground. Now, if you listen to the minister's analysis, it's quite clear that his understanding of the word defeated is not the understanding that you and I have. Because in talking about it, he even went on to say that we're procuring 7 different types of chemicals. And he even affirmed the existence of the worm by saying that biologically, it is impossible to say that all the worms have been defeated. I mean, have been eliminated, to quote him. He said biologically it's difficult to say that all the worms have been eliminated. So if they have not all been eliminated, does that not mean that they exist? And if they are in existence, we all know the source of their nurturing is for them to eat crops. So logically, you know, he seems to see the definition of defeated from what I know. And if you look at the dictionary definition of defeated, you know, it also is synonymous to annihilated, exterminated, vanquished. I see. If something is vanquished, it shouldn't be in existence.
Then he told us the story some months ago in Parliament. Now he comes to the Public Accounts Committee and says, well, we deserve commendation and not condemnation. So suggesting that at least something has been done?
Well, I'm not saying that an effort has not been made. But to what extent has that effort helped in salvaging, particularly the destroyed farms, some of which are still being destroyed today, of the smallholder farmers, the peasant farmers? And in fact, he made a comment that I took offense to. You know, in the dialogue, he made allusions to the fact that even if all the farms in Busa South were to be destroyed by the worms, that is a very small fraction. But you see, as a society, we should rather be worried about the downtrodden, those who can only cultivate half a hectare, 2 hectares. Should we be worried about the multi-million CD farmers who have several acreages and forget about the small people? So yes, the worms should go ahead and ravage the farms of the inhabitants of Busa North because their contribution to the food basket of this country is minuscule. We should allow them to just wither away and be hopeless and have no source of sustenance. I mean, when we put people in positions of trust, first of all, we expect them to be truthful. And secondly, we expect them to empathize with the downtrodden and the small people. And that is why I have decided to speak out and draw attention to what is going on, because the peasant farmers are bearing the brunt of what is happening, this ongoing damage by the
from your own estimation, and if you could hazard a guess, what is the Ministry of Agriculture doing wrong in fighting the worm?
First of all, I think that the reaction was a bit too late. I remember, and thankfully I am here in the studios of TV3, when information started trickling in about this worm, even before there were indications that it had arrived in our country. I remember I was here on Newsday on a Saturday, and as a panel, we discussed it. I remember I even made a reference to the fact that government needed to engage etymologists from the University of Ghana. I mentioned a senior colleague of mine, Dr. Maxwell Bila, who is one of the best etymologists. You know, that is the study of insects, and these are insects. We talked about it. Fast forward, we didn't do much. The worm has now spread. The chemicals were not available. In my constituency, for example, a lot of the farmers told me, out of desperation, they had to pound the leaves of the neem tree, add pounded pepper, and then mix that with omo. I mean, even the time of applying the chemical, for those of us, for those who had the opportunity to get even the limited quantity, they didn't know when, what time to apply the chemical. So although they were even sprinkling, some of those who got the reaction, were sprinkling.
The reaction for you was late.
Yes.
Okay.
It was late.
Let me quickly speak.
The worm has not been defeated.
Right. Let me quickly speak to the man in charge of the Chamber of Agriculture, Mr. Philip Abayori. He's just joined me via Skype. Quickly, let me speak to him. And back to Dr. Apak. Mr. Philip, I'm very grateful for your time with us this afternoon. And the Minister of Agriculture, once again, is gone to Parliament, precisely before the Public Accounts Committee of the House, and said that in the fight against the fall armyworm, government deserves commendation and not condemnation. Are farmers able to commend government for what it has done for them?
Yeah, when it comes to whether farmers can comment or not, you know, it's one way and the other, because if your crops have been attacked, definitely you will have an issue. But the last time we spoke on this platform, I said we should try not to politicize the issue of armyworm, because this is a natural disaster. Nobody wants crops to be grown and destroyed simply because either the state has not done its job or the farmer has not done his job. It is a phenomenon or a disaster that has plagued us. And we in the private sector seek to benefit when we harvest crops. And if the crops are destroyed, we lose more, and we will ask for government's intervention. So the issue of armyworm have come, though for the first time it has affected generally across the country. Previously, we used to have armyworm, but the armyworm is limited to some areas, but this time it has spread significantly. So government did its part. The difficulties were there because we were not so prepared that that magnitude of infestation will come. As we speak, definitely you realize that there have been some support that came, but you know, agriculture is a very large area. You know, if it comes, I keep on saying that what the farmers invest is more than what government invest, because you cannot go to all the farms across the country and be able to do the spraying, though you will do your best. So in one way and the other, the farmers have done their best in very difficult, trying times. Without chemicals, they find indigenous ways and some other innovative ways to be able to, curb the armyworm. Government too did its best. What we should be doing now is to plan for next year, or to ensure that in the next cropping season, we have informed our farmers enough and also given them the appropriate remedies, not even, conventional, but both traditional and conventional, so that they can up the gear to be able to fight this armyworm. If we want to put it in the media platform every day to say that, oh, government have not done this, we are not in conflict with government because we are partners. We in the agricultural sector partner government for development for us to be able to succeed in what we do. If we are not very careful, the government or ministry will say certain things that we will not be happy, because if you go and plant your crops, though for national food security, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has to ensure that there is food for the citizens of Ghana. But you are doing your private business. Then for an emergency purpose, you plant your crops, you bought chemicals, you didn't envisage that this worm will come and it will be a problem. So it becomes an issue of public good, so that the ministry has to support by creating an intervention for us to be able to have food security. It shouldn't be the entire responsibility of the government, because it is a collective effort. Because when you harvest the crops and you go and sell, you don't carry your money and go and give to government. But what you do is that you are helping the economy. And if you lose your crops, government loses, because government will now have to find food to feed the people of Ghana. So we need to look at this as a collective effort than trying to sometimes politicize. I have had interactions with various governments. Mr.
Bayeri, sorry for cutting in, but if the Ministry of Agriculture comes out to say that the fall armyworm has been defeated, and yet the farmer on the ground is still battling the worm. What is the politicization in here?
You see, what do you expect the Minister of Food and Agriculture to say when they are gone, they've been given money, they bought chemicals, and they already supply the chemicals? If in the event that they supply the chemicals and we're having 100% invasion of armyworm, and they have brought it down to 10%, haven't they defeated the worm?
All right. So your understanding of defeat is that it's 90% and not 100%. Is that the way you understand defeat?
Even if it is 50%, it was 100%, and the effort they did was that they were able to bring this to even 50%. Haven't they made an effort?
Yes.
So if
yes,
effort away and say they have not
Mr. Abayori,
I'm not in here. I'm not defending them.
Yes, exactly. But
this phenomenon.
But of course, you said government is made some effort.
You see, we are farmers. We try sometimes to go and talk to the ministry. We try to talk to government to put, issues across for them to understand that, because we are on the ground, to let them know that these are things they need to do. So in the event of trying to work with them, we try to antagonize them. You realize we'll be having issues, and these are some of the issues that are generating outside that you see people are complaining because, one, I'm working with you and you don't want to compromise with me and you want to be vilifying me. So we want to have a congenial atmosphere to be able to deal with these issues. When there are issues, let us sit down with the ministry and discuss them. If they fail to do what they are supposed to, because I've been talking to them, if they don't do what they are supposed to do, I'll come here and say it. I've said it before.
Okay.
But if our approach is antagonistic, it will not make any meaningful benefit to us.
Mr. Abayori, sorry again, I have to cut in. Are you suggesting that we should just have listened to the minister say that the fall-army worm is defeated and then we ended there?
I am not saying that.
What are you saying?
This is a pest. This is a pest which has come to invade 100% of farms in Ghana. A natural phenomenon, a natural disaster. The government intervened, but totally they have not been able to 100%, let's say, completely.
Again, I am cutting in.
So the worm still, the worm still exists. As I speak to you, in the Upper East region and other regions that we are talking about, some of the crops have reached a stage that even the worm will not be able to even destroy though the worm is there, it doesn't have any impact on the crop, because where the crop has grown up to, it cannot do anything to it, though it will be there eating the leaves. Don't forget that this same army worm, which has affected various crops, after the army worm was cleared and rains came, the place became more fertilized, that the crop that will be harvested will even be more. The farmers even, so it is neither here or not there. I keep on saying
briefly hold on. Let me speak to my guest in the studio, Dr. Clement Apak. Dr. Apak, so Mr. Abayori's issue is that, well, the government perhaps cannot totally uproot the problem, but at least some efforts have been done. And that is where the minister says that, don't condemn me, commend me.
No, nobody has said government has not made an effort. But the fact remains that the worm is still present. And I can't understand why the minister refuses to acknowledge. Because the worm is present in my constituency. I've seen it in farms. I've seen it in maize. I've seen it on other vegetables in my constituency. So you can't compel me to agree with you, because if it is 90% contained, what of the 10%, which is perhaps what is affecting my constituency? So I shouldn't speak about it. I mean, I can't accept that. If the minister has said that the situation is under control, I understand. But when you say it has been defeated, and you know the definition of the word defeated, quite clearly, you can't expect me to see the worms in farms in my constituency and yet agree that it has been defeated, because my understanding of defeated means that it has been exterminated, it has been eliminated, it no longer exists. So you can't tell me that it has been defeated when I see the worms in farms in my constituency.
Mr. Abayori, so government should have told us the fight against the worm is under control.
Can I come in?
Please come in now.
What is the role of the farmer, or what is the role of the MPP himself? The issue is that if government has done 90%, the rest of it is for me and you to also complete. At which program that government is able to do 100% in this country, apart from roads? You see the point. So one thing, because we are a private sector and government is talking about private partnership, we don't want to be antagonistic to government. We want to make sure that we are able to partner government to work with each other. So in the issue that if the government has been able to do 90% and 10%, and the farm is yours, is it not good enough for you to also invest? So let us all be
Mr. Abayeri, the poor peasant farmer in Kulungugu in that part of the country, he has just an acre of a farm. What can he do to fight the worm? Apart from purchasing the chemicals that government has brought that is not working.
The poor farmer, especially while the MP is there talking, he's also responsible to support that poor farmer because the poor farmer voted for him to come to power. Okay. So what you need to do is that you should also complement what government is doing. Whilst the traditional, just about 2-3 weeks ago, the CSR called farmers across the country to train us, to give us information about a blueprint of some traditional emergency preparedness about how we can curb the worms. Information is power. Even some information about how to, in one way and the other, before the major spraying will come, there are so small things that could be done locally so that at least you prevent the worms. Right. Clean around your farm to make sure your farm hygiene is fine, and then also ensure that you cross-check the farm in one way and the other to ensure that they are in one area. You make sure that you concentrate the spraying. Spray in the night, not in the daytime. Okay. All these are part of the issues.
All right.
So let us together.
I'm grateful for your time with us. Mr. Philip Abayeri is with the Chamber of Agriculture. They're talking to me about this particular issue. But Mr. Apak, let's quickly wrap up on this conversation. Well. So he is insisting that, well, government is now 90%, and so the rest is for us to deal with.
Well, that 90% is questionable, because it depends on the type of farmer he's talking about. Obviously, these are large to medium scale farmers. When you are speaking about people whose subsistence is based on half a hectare, 1 hectare, 2 hectares, who don't even have access to the chemicals, and those who got some were not even properly oriented about how to apply it, and they are seeing their farms being destroyed and eaten away by the day. We must definitely have some level of sympathy and draw the attention of the state to their plight. As a member of parliament, it is my role to advocate and to draw.
And he says you as a private person can even help.
Well, that's why I was there. Okay. I'm not just speaking from a second-hand account. Okay. I was there physically myself.
All right.
And that is part of the role of an MP, is to bring the issues that bother your people to bear. So even if the whole country, the worm doesn't exist, and it's only in my constituency, which the minister described as small, and that if even all the farms in Butsa South were destroyed, that will not still affect the harvest.
All right.
I definitely see that as a call for me to even advocate a lot more to draw attention
to the plight of
the peasant farmers.
I am grateful.
In my constituency.
Dr. Park, I'm grateful on that. But just before I let you go, TV3 is 20 years in a couple of days from now. 1st October will be 20 years. How have you seen TV3 all these years?
Well, I have had the opportunity to be associated with TV3 for several years. From my days at the university, my civil society advocacy group, Forum for Governance and Justice, all the numerous activities that I undertook, my presence with your good self to start News at 10. I remember it was myself and the now Minister for Education, Matthew Opoku Prempe, and I've always monitored some of your very innovative programs. I will say that you have acquitted yourself very well, certainly very professional. And as you just did, you always try to get a balanced story out, in spite of whatever topic may be on board for discussion. So I think that kudos. 20 years in this industry is no mean achievement, and I will only urge you on to seek to reach even higher heights. But I think that my assessment is that you have done well. You've acquitted yourself with a lot of, if you like, circumspection, but at the same time maintaining, your brand.
I'm grateful. Dr. Clement Apak is a member of parliament for the Busa South constituency. They're talking to me. We'll tell you more of that later on, right here on TV3. But now let's shift attention to the New Times Corporation, where we're told that staff of that organization, Accra, maintain their outfit is open for business in spite of the continuation of the demonstrations by workers agitating for the removal of some management members.
4 hours ago, staff members of the New Times Corporation, who published the Ghanaian Times and the Spectator, embarked on a demonstration exercise. It's day 2, and the red flags are still flying here at the New Times Corporation premises. 2 different things that you probably might notice from yesterday. No board member should enter the yard. Now, we also have police presence, members of the Ghana Police Service, trying to ensure that peace prevails at the premises. Now, let's go inside and then find out exactly more of what's going on. Well, I guess this is one of the things you could describe as possibly a peaceful demonstration, as peaceful as it gets. What they're actually doing is what we refer to as Jama. I'm here with Superintendent Freeman Kumashi, a Rapid Deployment Force Commander, Accra.
When we came, we met with the leadership and we were told that they were protesting in relation to their working conditions. We tried to talk to them, the management, to also talk to the workers to go back to work, whilst their issues are taken up by their leadership. So far, as you can see, they've understood us and they are going back to their various offices. I understand the ICU will be coming down here to talk to them. I will wait and then see the outcome of that meeting before we decide whether to stand down or not. But for now, we will maintain our presence here.
Now, Madam Diana Bosu, she is the chairperson for the Professionals and Managerial Staff Union of the ICU. Now, when we spoke to you Monday afternoon, yes, what you basically said was that you had been spoken to and that you were going to get back to work and everything was fine and you were looking at the way forward. Yeah. But today, it doesn't seem like that's the case. What happened?
We actually went back to work and our news is in the newsstand. We came out with our paper all right. Everything went very well. And in the evening, we had the MD speaking that she's going to come back. And so workers this morning decided to come and ensure that we don't have the former managing director entering into the yard. And so
is she a former? She's not a former, officially a former managing director. She is, at least as far as we're concerned, the standing director. That's Madam Carol Annan.
She's a former because people she might be working with are saying they can't work with her, and so that makes her a former.
Now you're saying that you're going back to work and all that. However, your gate is still locked, which under normal circumstances wouldn't be the case.
Anyone who is coming to do business, the gate will be open.
So the gate is open to everybody, including
except
the media,
except
your managing
yes,
and
who is
your
not
board.
a visitor and it's not needed now.
She's not a visitor.
And should stay away for the meantime.
As well as your board members.
Yes, exactly.
Now, Madam Diana Bosu is the chairperson for the Professional and Managerial Staff Union of the ICU. And in a nutshell, she's basically saying the managing director, Carol Annan, is not allowed on the premises. As far as they're concerned, she's no longer the managing director. And when it comes to the board of New Times Corporation as well, same goes to them. As far as they're concerned, they haven't done much or anything at all for the corporation, and thus they are calling for the dissolution. Everything is done. Gates are still locked, open to visitors, as they say, but not to board members or the managing director. We'll still be keeping tabs on this particular situation and be bringing you updates as and when we get more information. Till then, Solis Rose Corte, TV3, Accra.
Now, let's get to the issue of the 2 deputy chiefs of staff. Director General Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, ACP David Iklu, says although the police want the public to assist with information, they must endeavor to provide proof of same. He spoke earlier on News at 10 with my colleague Abu Isamoni.
We are looking at to see what will be done to him. The facts have not been established. It is baseless, and the 2 public officers that he accused on the statement that he issued on his Facebook have been cleared. Now, as to what happens to Kwame Asare Ben, A+, who made those false statements. As I speak now, we have not made a decision on it.
Is there a lesson that Ghanaians or the public in general should learn from this scenario?
Yes, one of the major lessons that we want the public to learn is that although we encourage the public to give us information on criminal activities, if you give that information, we'll certainly get in touch with you to prove it. So the fact that you have put the information out is not conclusive that a crime has been committed. We need to investigate and find out the veracity or the truth of the allegation. So those are the processes that we have started, and any other information that we get, either directly or through the media or through the other public listen, will be subjected to thorough police investigations.
And let's tell you exactly what the police said about the two persons. The CID of the police service cleared the two deputy chiefs of staff, Samuel Abu-Jinapor and Francis Asiedu-Dartey, all of them of corruption allegations that were made against them by A+.
The CID, following a directive from the president, launched investigations into the allegation of corruption and thievery against the two government officials to establish the authenticity or otherwise of the allegations. On August 27, 2017, Kwame Asare alias A+, a Ghanaian musician, made allegations of corruption and thievery against Francis Asiedu-Dartey and Samuel Abu-Jinapor on Facebook. Consequently, A+ was invited to assist the police with their investigations, and according to the police, during interrogations, A+ categorically denied ever accusing Asiedu-Dartey and Abu-Jinapor of thievery and or receiving any money as bribe. According to the statement, following a petition by Unibank Ghana Limited to the effect that the management of Kolebu had abrogated an existing MOU with them without any reason and that Kolebu has not treated them fairly, the CID therefore followed up on the allegations and interviewed witnesses, including the Chief Executive Officer of Kolebu, Dr. Phyllis Anya, as well as Asiedu-Dartey and Jinapor. It was established that the two deputy chiefs of staff, among others, intervened to seek clarity from the hospital's management regarding the said petition, and their intervention was transparent, born out of the protection of the public interest and consistent with their duties as chief of staff.
Right, that's the excerpt of the statement that the police issued in connection with the accusations of corruption against two of the deputy chiefs of staff. Now, the president's proposal to change Founders Day to August 4 is been attracting commentary. This afternoon on What Do You Think, Catherine Frimpoma takes a look at exactly what the people are saying.
The issue of the founding fathers of this country and the best way to celebrate them seems to be an unending debate. The president is now proposing August 4 as a Founders Day, which will be a holiday in addition to 21st September, which is the birthday of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, which is also going to be a specific day for his remembrance. But some people think that there are too many holidays in the country to add another one, while others also are of the view that these people also are worth mentioning and celebrated. What do you also think?
What Nkrumah did is very different from what the other people did. So I think it's good for Nkrumah to be celebrated differently, and then the rest also be celebrated differently.
If we have holidays and we still need some people to celebrate, we still have to do it. 21st is Kwame Nkrumah's birthday. Using 21st as Founders Day is not right. It's his birthday alone. So proposing another day, maybe for the rest that helped, at least we're showing them respect too. So I think it's cool.
What the president is proposing is okay. Because in Ghana here, I don't think there are too many holidays, so it's okay.
Okay, holiday, Founders Day, I'm a fan, many one in Ghana, fair Ghana. Or come a fair, I celebrate it's okay.
should be only one day. To me, I feel there should be only one day for all the other founders and not have a separate day. Well, at least staying at home, what is the country benefiting from it? We are not benefiting from it from any way. So if it's only one day set aside to acknowledge the contribution of all the other people who contributed to our independence, I think it's enough.
Thanks for staying there on Midday Live. We're taking a break. When we come back, there is business. Time for business. The Greater Accra branch of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, has served a 6-week ultimatum for government to enforce the GIPC Law Act 865, which reserved retail trading for indigents. The traders, who lamented foreigners have taken over the retail business, threatened not to file their tax returns after October 31 if government fails to enforce the law. All right, we'll certainly get to see them and get Salom Amenya, who is with the traders there to speak to. They've been agitating about this, and the traders organized a press conference. Quickly, let's listen to the Greater Accra Secretary.
Let me repeat myself again. As a union, we are law-abiding citizens. So we are giving our law enforcement agencies and the authorities of our dear country to ensure that these illegal foreign operators are to leave our market by the end of October 2017. The inability of government and our law enforcement agencies to enforce the GIPC Act stated above by 31st of October 2017, we will be compelled as a union to cease filing VAT returns and other taxes. Please, write this in a very deep ink. Yes, and I'll repeat it again. The inability of government and our law enforcement agencies to enforce GIPC Act stated above by 31st October is closer. 2017, we will be compelled as a union to cease filing our VAT returns and other taxes. The same tax laws which mandate us to meet our tax obligations should compel the state security agencies to enforce the GIPC law. It's as simple as ABC.
We'll bring you details of the press conference by the Ghana Union of Traders Association. But let's stay on business a little longer. The Small Scale Miners Association is calling for the lifting of the ban on the operations within 2 weeks, claiming to have lost $268 million of the investments. But Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Benito Owusu-Bio, has made it clear the ban will be lifted only when the operations have been sanitized.
Government placed a 6-month ban on illegal mining and that of all small-scale mining activities in the country. The ban, which is expected to be lifted by the end of this month, is part of government interventions to sanitize the mining sector and put a hold on illegal mining activities in the country. Even before the ban is lifted, small-scale miners in the Ashanti region a week ago staged a demonstration expressing their frustration over huge investment lost over the period.
How much has the association lost so far? Yeah, we quantified and we had about $268 million for the miners, those who have licenses. This includes loans that are still accruing interest, We are also looking at fixed costs that you are still paying. And then the cost of doing some maintenance. Those who are doing underground, they need to also pump their water out, and you are still not getting it.
It's about 2 weeks to the end of the 6-month ban, but it could be extended.
If we keep on hearing that it's still ongoing, it becomes difficult to put an end to it.
And when exactly is it supposed to end?
When there's sanity, when we've trained them as well, when going forward we've recruited inspectors. It is not the issue about the time. It is the issue about making sure we do it right.
This did not go down well with the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners.
The government is looking at the private sector for employment and also as an engine of growth and development. So banning indigenous miners for 6 months and then government wanting to extend it, I don't think it will be a step in the right direction for the industry. Yes, there are concerns, there are environmental challenges, but we can sit and make sure that these things are done, people mine responsibly.
Small-scale mining of precious minerals continue on to make significant contributions to the country's foreign exchange earnings. Total gold production by small-scale miners rose from an estimated 2.2% in 1989 to 31% of the national production in 2016, whilst production of all diamonds is now coming from small-scale mining. But how will the ban on small-scale mining activities affect the above figures?
When you put monetary value to the extent of degradation and the pollution that had been going on, then I would say the money that we are losing now in terms of revenue from the small-scale sector, I would say is chicken feed. Why? Because the gold, at the end of the day, although it's not being mined now, it's still there. We've not lost it.
Okay.
And even now, the world market price is going up.
Currently, 700 mining concessions have been affected by the ban. For TV3, Kwabna Edu James.
Now let's see the international front, and Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett says the country has suffered widespread damage from Hurricane Maria. The hurricane suddenly strengthened to a potentially catastrophic Category 5 storm before making landfall on the Caribbean island. Earlier, Mr. Scarrett had posted live updates as his own roof was torn off, saying he was at the complete mercy of the hurricane. And also here, a journalist from northeastern Nigeria has won the 3rd BBC World News Komla Dumont Award. Amina Yuguda is a news presenter on local network Hotel Television, where she has reported on high-profile news stories, including the Boko Haram insurgency. She will start a 3-month placement at the BBC in London in September. And that's how we're wrapping up the news for this afternoon. There's more news on 3news.com, but stay right here because there is news in brief and also later on News 360. My name is Bright and I'm for. Have a good afternoon.